Today's October 11th, 2021, Monday, and I'll be talking about my experiences with people and the multi-agent quantum AI computers. On part one, Ed talked about how my mother and her secret lover, who's Arabian, they were in the bathroom, and I was holding my urine, and I needed to use the bathroom because I can feel pain, shooting pain on my right side of my belly and my left side of my belly. Oh, this can damage my kidney. And my mom is a nurse, and she's supposed to know better that I'm just a little child. Yet, I remember being pushed by my mother and the guy out of the bathroom, and I was holding my urine all the way to midnight morning. Yeah, all the way from midnight morning to morning time. Because I remember waking up midnight morning to use the bathroom, and to find my mom and this guy in the bathroom, and it's dark, and I'm pretty much scared about I'm scared of the dark, and I have an anxiety with bathrooms because of the way people treat me, like my relatives. They get angry when they see me in the bathroom. So after that time, and after that time, I remember that I started having these dreams that pick up from where I left off, where it shows my mom in in the apartment room, and she's dressing up in a nursing uniform, and you can see her stockings, and you can see her bra, and she's naked, as if someone is observing her. But I can see that in the dream that the bed, my bed, and her bed is all made up. I had my own bed when I was a kid, and it was just happening again. I would have these dreams that pick up from where I left off. It repeats to themselves, and I'm saying to myself, "What the heck is this?" So afterwards, I started having these dreams where I see strangers that I never met in my life. So this was the first. Wet dreams was the first for me, and then after these wet dreams, I started having these dreams about being homeless on the street, and you know, on the streets, and there's pretty much me just walking around, and I'm just pretty much crying to myself, and everybody is completely ignoring me while I'm walking on the walking around on the streets with my belongings. So in these wet dreams, I would see a woman with blonde hair with big breasts, or they just stare at me. This is pretty. It's pretty in a it's considered to be actually not rather than being considered, it's inappropriate for a 10-year old to have these wet dreams, right? About women. I'm talking about women in their like late late 20s going into their yeah late 20s going into their late 30s, showing me women staring at me in my dreams that I never met in my life, showing me their private area. This is why I'm starting to have a good understanding of the way I'm situated, or you could say the way I'm governed by the multi-agent quantum AI computers. This is where I get my ideas from about a whole girlfriend and wife that the AI give people, give man wife or girlfriend, or make a man cheat on their wife or a girlfriend. I'm starting to have like a good understanding of it in 2014. So I remember, all right. So I had said this in part one that my father, when I was was it 2001 or 2002? I remember my father had a girlfriend named Muchi, and me and my father and Muchi would always hang out together. We would go to movies. We would go to Manhattan. We would go to the arcades and yeah, in Manhattan. We would go to Coney Island. So I remember when me and my father and Muchi got under the train bridge. He flipped her shirt over, and I saw her breasts. And he started fondling her breasts in front of me. And I'm just a little kid. That's kind of inappropriate. He said, "Look at this." He told me to look at this. He said, "Look at this boy." I'm like, what the? I don't understand what it means. At the time, I don't understand what he's showing me, or I don't know anything about what he's showing me. And I'm starting to learn that it started corresponding with my dream. They're actually, like, for instance, me seeing my mother nude in the bathroom with a guy nude in the bathroom. It corresponds with my dreams. The dreams that show me, as this means that I'm starting to learn that someone purposely want to show me, this, the way that someone purposely want me to show me my mom and the guy being naked, or someone want me to show me mushy breasts. So I started learning. The more I started experience people behaving this way to me, the more I started getting an idea that someone, or there's an observer out there that's purposely showing me how people behave right in front of me. And I had mentioned that my mom and my father had secret lovers, even though they're both married. So not only that, I noticed that my mother and my father started behaving sexually, I also noticed how I'm put into awkward situations in school. So I remember I had a classmate in first grade. Her name is Carolina, and I ended up meeting Carolina again in second grade. She was in my YMCA program, and she was in my class. So I was put into an awkward position in class. All right, my classmates, they're most of them are males that like to run around, and they like to push people. So I remember I was standing, and I was either talking to someone in my class, and Carolina was also in a group talking to her female friends. So I remember my male classmate, they end up pushing me, and I'm a tall, second grader, and I'm also clumsy. So I end up losing my balance, and I end up tilting over, and I end up falling over Carolina, and I was put in an awkward position where I end up touching her private area, you could say, vagina, and my YMCA teacher had insisted that I to my mother that I touch Carolina private area. So I end up getting in trouble because of how because of someone else's actions. My classmates, my male classmates' actions caused me to get in trouble, and I have no idea they were behind me pushing me. And when I tried to explain the situation to my YMCA teacher, she's Guyanese, my YMCA teacher, and my mother, they wouldn't they seemed to not want to interact with me about what happened. They already had believed that I wanted to do something inappropriate with a female classmate, which is not true. No matter how many times I tried to explain it myself. So I remember during the weekends, me and my father would hang out and eat. I remember we was by Archer Archer Avenue. This was around near the Suffin Boulevard, and I remember my father mentioned about that he said, "Oh, I see you like touching a girl's pussy." That's what he said to me. I said I didn't. I said I never did that on purpose. I never mean to do something like that. I was telling my father that someone in my class pushed me, and I lost my balance and ended up falling over Carolina. So to show me, and also to show my subscribers right now, that this artificial intelligence always put me in the most awkward situation, where to the point I don't even know what to say. I don't know. I don't know how to explain myself. It's extremely difficult to explain myself about what happened. I mean, what happened during that time. I couldn't explain it to my father or my mother or the YMCA teacher. So I also remembered around second grade, I had a babysitter. Her name was Shamiza, and this and also this babysitter was yeah this babysitter had a what is it, a boyfriend or a husband. His name was Adball, and my father used to work with Adball because my father is a person who prints newspaper. So Adball insisted that my father take me to his girlfriend or his wife so she can watch me be a babysitter. And Adball had a daughter and a son. I believe either two daughters or a son. Not too sure. Probably three daughters or or a son. So I remembered Shami's daughter. She was sitting on the couch with me. So I used to when I was at the babysitter, I always took my Game Boy Color with me, and I used to play Zelda on my Game Boy Color. Zelda Link Awakening. I always played the game on my Game Boy Color every time I go to the babysitter, and Shami's daughter would interact with me. So I remember that I was around how old? 9 years old. Yeah, I was 9 years old at the time, and Shamiza was on the couch. Shami's daughter was on the couch with me, and she stared at me because me and her would talk about video games, or we talk about people from our school, PS95 Q. So all of a sudden, Shamiza got this idea. She said to me if I want to put my arm around her waist. I'm saying what? So I remember that she scooted over next to me, and she grabbed my arm, my right arm, and she put my right arm around her waist, and she said, "Yeah, like this. Let's get close to one another." And her body was next to my body. I'm like, what is going on here? It's as if it's as if that she doesn't. It's as if someone is making her behave this way towards me, or is it's as also as if someone is sorry for me in a sense of this behavior. This feeling. The way I'm thinking at that time makes me think that someone wants me to actually experience this. So that's another experience that so I'm just when I'm going over several things. So this is what I do when I learn about behaviors. I would just go over them, and I would see which one connects. So I connect them. I would do this by myself all the time. Try to see which one showed connect. Which one connects. That there is a correlation between that time and event, and that the time and an event showed me how the way people behave connects with another time and event. This is what I do. I would evaluate how people behave through my experience because I have good memory of those time and events. And I can remember every single thing that happened. Well, it's I can give enough. I could give a clear description of what happened to me and how people behave. So, so there's another time that I experienced it. Was it in yeah. This was so I'm just concentrating on the behavior, the one that the ones that actually were effective. They're more effective when it comes to being sexual. So it was it a 11th grade or 12th grade? So I was in 12th grade. This was Hillcrest High School in Jamaica, Queens, New York. So I used to sit. Yeah, at the time I always sat down by myself. I'm always by myself. So all of a sudden, besides that time, all of a sudden, this Guyanese guy and this Guyanese girl were just staring at me. They were right in front of me on the in the yeah. We were all sitting at a lunch table. They were staring at me, and the Guyanese guy asked me this question. He said, "Do you want to have sex with my girlfriend?" With his girlfriend looking at me, and I'm like, "What? What did I hear? He asked me that question and he repeated it to me. He said, "Do you want to have sex with my girlfriend?" And I'm like, I didn't. I pretty much went back to what I was doing. Either I had a magazine or I would pretty much draw doodles in my notebook. I didn't say a word to the individual or his girlfriend. And to see that this is not the first time that's happening. It happens again the second time. One of my female classmates, she said to me, or rather than not just me, also had made some sort of a interaction with a person at lunch, or he's acquainted with me. He heard one of my classmates, my female classmate, said to me if I wanted to have sex with her. And I asked him a question. I said, "Wait, what did she say?" He said, "If he said to me, she's asking that question about if you want to have sex with her," and then she just sat right next to me. I'm like, "What the hell is going on?" This is the second time it happened. So let's get back to 10th grade. So in 10th grade, uh, I remember standing in a lunch line. Now this cafeteria in Hillcrest High School is very small, very small, and there's a lot of kids from the class that they like to skip their class, and they don't really belong in the lunchroom. The lunchroom is really overpacked. It's too crowded to the point that the kids in the school can't even find a table to sit at. So I remember that I used to come to yeah. I remember I used to leave from my class really early just so I can actually arrive to the cafeteria really early because I know that I would spend at least 20 or 30 minutes standing on the lunch line or trying to find a seat. So I always come early. I always make sure to come early. Even though I come early, the line is still long. And there used to be a lady who supervises the lunchroom, or you could say the cafeteria. So I remember that it was this Latina girl, and yeah, she was standing in front of me, but I didn't have no idea she was standing in front of me because when I get to the cafeteria, I'm just I smell the food and I'm just hungry and I'm so tired. So I also during that time, 2010, when I was in 10th grade, I dealt with my sleep. I had sleep issues. No matter how many times I go to sleep, I still feel like tired, extremely tired, and that causes my body to actually always feel hungry all the time. I feel super hungry all the time, and I also feel super tired, no matter how many times I eat or no how many times I sleep. And I always have these still during that time. I also had these dreams that repeat itself over and over and over, and I would have difficulties breathing when I had repeating these dreams that repeat itself. And these dreams are vivid, and I would feel like I'm drowning when I'm having these vivid dreams as if I'm not getting the oxygen. It's as if my brain is not getting enough oxygen when I'm having these dreams. So, you know, I remember just standing on the line, and then all of a sudden, the Latino girl, she just backed up on me, and she just backed up on me, and she just started grinding her butt on my crotch area, and I'm saying to myself, why is she grinding her butt on my crotch area? No, like she's putting pressure on my crotch area, like really hard, like pushing her whole entire butt on my crotch area, and she just kept grinding over and over. That's when I started to come to realization what she's doing. I'm like, wait, who is this? Who is this girl? Why is she? I don't even know this person. Why is she grinding her butt on my crotch area? And then she stared at me as she smiled, and she started saying what? And I'm like, what the hell is going on? I'm just like in shock, like, who is this person? I don't even know anything about this person yet. This female is just grinding her butt on me, on my crotch area. And she not only that, her you can see her panties is her panties is very is visible because she was wearing black leggings. so I can actually feel her butt on my crotch area. So this is not their first time. It happened again. So I had a female Guyanese classmate, and I remember at the time she had a boyfriend. So I was standing on the lunch line, and there was too many people. Too many people standing in front. So this is the front. So just use this picture, this image as an example. So this is where you see the cursor. This is where we were supposed to get the food, and there's way too many people standing there. And the supervisor told the children to back up. It's not time for you to get your food served. Back up now, back up. So it wasn't enough space in the area that I was that I was standing in, and there was way too many people in the back of me. So my classmate, my female Guyanese classmate, was in front of me, and she was wearing leggings, and so she started backing her herself right on my crotch area, because the lunch lady continued to keep saying to the children to keep backing up, and we didn't have no space. So I was pretty much in an awkward position because her whole entire butt is on my crotch area, and I had no room to move. So I was like pretty much standing there for at least maybe a few minutes, maybe 5 or 7 minutes, with her butt on my crotch area. And I'm like saying to myself, what the hell is going on? So I remember as her butt goes on my crotch area, she started looking back and then smiling at me. And I'm saying to myself, what the hell is this? Wow. Yeah, so that's two times. So the first one was a Latino girl. Now this one is a Guyanese girl, and both of them wear this. They were wearing leggings, and you can see their their panties, and their butt is pressed against my crotch area, and I pretty much had no choice. I couldn't really move or do anything. I was in the same position when the Latina girl was grinding her butt in my crotch area, because there was people behind me, and I really couldn't move. But this one, the Latina girl, she grind her butt, while the Ghanaian girl, she didn't grind her butt. She pretty much pressed her butt into my crotch area. So let me show you how it connects again. So I remember in 2005. So how old I was in 2005? I was around 12 years old. So this was August of 2005, because I remember that I purchased a PSP with Twisted Metal Head on. So my father, he gave me $350. He said, "Here, use this for your vacation." And I was excited. I said, "You know what? I'm gonna go to Target, and I'm gonna get me a PSP, and I'm gonna get me Twisted Metal Head on." So I remember taking that with me. I took that to the airport with me when I was when me and my mom and my baby sister we went to travel to Indiana to see my aunt, or you could say my mother's sister. So I was pretty much obsessed with this technology, you know, because I'm so used to playing with my PS1 and also my Nintendo DS. So all I did was played with my PSP and Twisted Metal head on. I just kept playing the game over and over. I was beating it with different characters, and I just couldn't stop putting it. I couldn't put it down. Every in the morning time, and the afternoon, evening, midnight, morning, I would just play this PSP with Twisted Metal head on. So I remember I was sitting on the couch, and then my aunt started talking about her butt. She said that she wished she had a big butt, and she was wearing her jeans. She said, "Oh, I need to wear some." She was just either talking to herself or talking to my mom. She said that she needs to wear the proper jeans to show her butt, so so it can be bigger. And I'm like, what the hell? I'm playing my game, my Twisted Metal head-on game, and all of a sudden, my aunt just sat down right on my lap. As she sat down on my lap, her butt pressed on pressed onto my crotch area. She just sat down for at least 30 seconds. And I'm saying to myself, what the hell does this have to, what the hell is going on? I'm trying to concentrate on my game, and she's sitting she's sitting on my lap and pressing her butt on my crotch area. Very, very awkward behavior. This is not kind of normal to behave this way to a blood, you know, I'm blood, me and my aunt is blood related, but the way she behaves is kind of awkward. So this was 2005. So me and my mom and sister visited my aunt again. Yeah, visited my aunt again in 2011. So this was spring 2011, and I remember that my aunt Diane, she said that if any girls, she said if any girls come up to me, I said no. She said, oh why? Because you're fine. She said you're so fine. How come girls don't come up to you? I'm like, what the hell? Kind of strange talk. So I started catching on to the way people speak to me, like my blood related. She's blood related. Like my own family speaking this way to me. It's kind of strange. I started thinking that there is definitely an observer making her speak this way to me, or making the way people behave, sexually to me. So I end up seeing Auntie Diane once again, 2014. This was fall 2014 when me and my mom and sister were living in Kissimmee, Florida. My mom ran out of money. She her job was pretty much slow. So this was during fall time. So this is slow season, and we lived in a tourist section. Not many. There's not too many. Not many jobs available at the time. So my mom called her family, and they pick us up. So I remember my aunt as she came into the room, and me and my aunt was outside. My aunt said this to me. She said, "Oh, have you looked at your sister? She got boobs, and she got butt." I'm like, what the hell? This is inappropriate. Very, very, very inappropriate. Now that I think about that time, I said to myself, didn't a few weeks ago I had a dream about my classmates? There was, I remember I had a dream about my classmates, two of my classmates, and I remember this dream showed me a Filipino girl from my class, and you know how this connects. I remember in 2010, I told my father and his girlfriend. I remember they asked me this question when my father and his girlfriend invited me to go with them to Manhattan. My father said he was gonna buy me some jeans, or you could say some clothes, and also take me out to eat dinner. So I remember my father and his girlfriend asked me this question when I was on the elevator. Yeah, I was in the elevator with them, and he she asked me this question. She said to me, "What type of woman do you like?" And I said that I like Filipino woman. I just said that. 2010. I said to her that I like Filipino woman. What's also awkward is that I also ended up having a Filipino English teacher. You know how it connects. This is kind of strange. How is it that so this was summer 2010, right? And in 10th grade, so 10th grade, I started 10th grade in September of 2010, and this is when I discovered I had a English teacher who's not just Filipino. She's also, she said she was also Chile. Something about she's her background is also from South America. Her parents are mixed, and that same teacher, Miss Louise, her name was Miss Louise. Yeah, her name was Miss Louise. Was always picking on me in class. Like she stares at me out of everybody in the class. She uh, she asked me a strange question, like she would ask me over and over again, how come you're quiet, right? So I show you how I'm showing myself, and how showing the people who's looking at my my YouTube video how it connects, how the time and events, there's correlation from that time and that place and the way the people speak at the time. They correspond. So I remember Miss Louise. She had a. I remember I was either she wanted to talk to me or I had to say something to her, and all of a sudden, her students from a different class came over and she started talking about her butt. Right? She mentioned to her students what kind of jeans uh, that she should wear to show off her butt, right? And this one of the students, female students, said that the type of jeans you can wear is like skinny jeans to show off your butt. That's what she said, to my teacher. And then I remember there's another time where I had this kid in my class, right? In my English class, in Miss Louise's class, he really comes to school. He always cut school. Either he got expelled or something happened to him. Anyway, he was sitting next to me. Out of out of any out of everybody, everybody that's sitting at that desk that we were sitting in, he speaks to me, and he said to me, "Look at this." He the way he described her body, as if he knows her measurements and everything. It was very descriptive. It was descriptive. It was like he knows her height, her breast size, her butt size, her waist size, as if as if he created Miss Louise. The way he speaks, it was like wow. That's I was kind of shocked. So I'm starting to understand learning about cryptic messages. Starting to understand that the multi-agent quantum AI computers can actually describe how people they describe their appearance, so it can be attractive to someone. So all of a sudden he just started talking to me, and he said to me, "Look at Miss Louise. Uh, you know that look." He said, "Look at Miss Louise. She's busty. Look at how her shirt actually presses against her breasts." And he gives a good description about her waist size and then her butt. And I'm like saying to myself, why is he not speaking to Brandon? She's sitting right next to Brandon. Why is he speaking to me? And I'm a very quiet person in class. To me it didn't make any sense. Then as I started connecting, how people speak to me, it correspond. I'm starting to learn how it does correspond because she's Filipino and she also half Hispanic. My English teacher. So I remember, yeah, was it in 10th grade? Yep, that's it, definitely in 10th grade. I had a geometry teacher, and she's African American. So I also had a friend who also skips school a lot, or either got expelled, but he's Guyanese. While the other kid in Miss Louise class, he's African American. So I remember my friend. I wouldn't even call him friend because he's someone that I'm acquainted with because I really interact with him. I'm acquainted with him. So I was sitting in the geometry class, and all of a sudden he said, look at her shirt. You can see her nipples. This means she's hard. Her nipples are hard. That means she's horny." I'm saying to myself, huh? What does that mean? And you can actually see a geometry teacher nipples through her shirt, and he's telling me that the reason why is because she's horny. She's looking for. I'm like, what the hell kind of talk is that? This experience that I've encountered at that time also contributes to my ideas, which allows me to create a concept about wife and girlfriend, right? To show me how people think, how rather than people, how the AI makes people think. Like, where did this come from? Now I'm starting to get an idea. I'm starting to get a concept, a mental concept of how the artificial intelligence sees makes people see one another. The AI can change people's perception. It can, there's a every single person has an attractive feature. This is starting to connect. But what was off about it was how I told my father and his girlfriend that I like Filipino woman, and then I started seeing, I started to have I had a Filipino teacher in 10th grade, and then I started having dreams about Filipino one of my Filipino classmates. So that's why I'm saying that's why I bring up 2010. I was in 10th grade. So this is how I connect the time and events. So this was in 2014 when I had a dream about my Filipino classmates, and it was showing me how the way they dressed, their butt and their breasts, and they were standing in front of the Jamaican Coliseum. Was it not in the front and the side of the Jamaica Coliseum in the dream? Or it would show me one of my other someone that I know, one of my yeah, there would be wasn't one of my classmates knew a girl, and she would always interact with me. We would hug or sometimes we would exchange Facebook, and we would talk. And I remember she would hug me. So she ended up appearing in my dream, and me and her were standing on a hill, walking down the hill, talking to one another. So these are two dreams that I remember from 2014. So when I heard my aunt Diane said about started talking about my sister and her boobs and her butt. And I said that her character is, this is obvious that the way my aunt talks is not that's not my aunt. So I remember in 2000 or 2001, there was an incident between me and my cousin. This was sexually. I believe that me and my cousin was in my mother's bedroom, and my cousin, this is my female cousin, she was wearing stockings, and she pressed her butt in my crotch area. She was how can you put it? It was to the point that me and her, she took off my underwear, and she started making me rub my stuff on her butt. So I think from that point, that time and event, or that time is where my family started talking about that time, and I think that this now not rather than think this is what happened. This is true. That my aunt Diane and my cousin's mother Nikki, they both had interactions about me. So I had to say that my aunt Diane had a sexual, she had these sexual desires. This is the type of behavior coming from my aunt. My aunt only had one son, but in a sense, she behaved very, too she's too sexual, very erotic. The way she speaks is erotic. Doesn't She doesn't speak like the way you may actually look at her like like you're seeing a regular person who's not erotic based on the way she dressed, but the way she speaks erotic, and she behave erotic, too sexual. Because the way she described my sister, and the way she sat her butt down, and then started uh, pretty much pressing her butt on my crotch, that's erotic. So a few months after, was it maybe around, yeah, this was in December. So I remember me and my mom and sister visited my aunt in her apartment, and all of a sudden my aunt, uh, I was sitting on a yeah I was sitting where was I sitting? I was sitting on a couch or a sofa, and all of a sudden my aunt just pretty much she just sat down on her rug, or like rather than that, her knees, sat her knees down on a rug as she started putting her body next to mine, and she pretty much pushed her breast, rubbed her breast against my back, and I can just feel it. She just kept doing that over and over. and then mentioning about me having a girlfriend or any, it's as if she's trying to trigger. It's as if she's trying to trigger a certain desire from me or some sort of sexual desire. So this is how I start connecting them. Like, this doesn't make sense. So that was December 2014. I start connecting the way how people behave. So I know that I remember telling my one of my subscribers, she's a female, 2018, how my aunt behaved, how my aunt just sat down right on top of my lap while I was playing my PSP, and then she started putting pressure on my crotch area, which is inappropriate because my aunt is how old? Like around her. So this was 2005, 35 or 36 years old, or 34 years old, and I was 12 years old. That's really inappropriate to do that to a 12-year old. You're not supposed to do that to someone that your own family member. So let me bring it back again. There was a time I remember this was in 2004. Was it 2004 going into 2005? Because in 2004 I wanted to buy a Nintendo DS. I saved a lot of money. I had $200 in my wallet at the time, and I was 11 or 12 years old. So I remember visiting my family member. Yeah, me and my mom visited relatives. This was a family reunion in December of 2004. And I remember actually in 2005, me and my mom and my aunt and also my cousin Ali, we actually we actually left Pennsylvania. So this was the family reunion was in my cousin's house. We left from Pennsylvania to go to Boston, and it was me and my aunt. Me and my mom and my baby sister and my cousin. We were staying in my aunt's house for at least a week. Yeah, at least a week. And something happened. Ali ended up stealing one of my cousins, Kyle. Yeah, my cousin's friend knife. He had some sort of some sort of. I'm not too sure what it was. I believe he had some sort of knife, and my cousin stole it because once me and my mom and my baby sister and also my cousin left to go back to we went back to New York to go back to New York in January of 2005. I told my mom after I come back, I'm gonna go straight to Toys R Us because I want to see if they have the Nintendo DS in stock. That's what I said. I was 12 years old, so this is I always go to Toys R Us by myself when I was 11 or 12 years old. I think when I was 12 years old, I started going. Yeah, when I was 12 years old, I started going to places by myself. Not 11. 12 years old, I started going to places by myself. So my cousin, he's 19 at the time, Ali. He said that he wants to go with me. I'm like, why would he need to come with me? I'd rather go by myself. He said he's gonna come with me. So me and him started walking. We was walking towards the direction of Jamaica Avenue. So Ali all of a sudden brought up about knife. He said, "You see this? I stole this from Kyle's friend." I'm like, "Huh? I stole this." He's showing me the knife. I'm like, "Oh, okay." Then all of a sudden, he brought up about. He asked me this question. He said, "If I ever had sex before." I'm like, "What? I'm only 12. I'm only 12 years old. It doesn't make sense to ask that question to a little kid." So he said to me that he had sex before, and his heart was racing. He said his heart was beating when he was doing it with a girl. I'm like, why would he need to tell me that? That's personal. You should keep that to yourself. I'm just 12 years old. I don't even know nothing about what he's saying. You know, all I know is that he told me his heart was racing when he was having sex with someone with a woman. He said that his heart was beating very fast and he couldn't help himself. And he's telling me the position of how he had sex with the woman. Why do I need to hear? My mind is concentrating. I'm concentrating on getting myself a Nintendo DS at the time for $150. I don't care about you know having sex or a woman. All I cared was that I get this Nintendo DS so I can play Spider-Man 2 and also Super Mario 64 on this Nintendo DS. Because all I ever did during that time was buy Nintendo Power magazines. All I cared about was the technology. I cared not just games. I cared about the technology. It's a touchscreen. Did the Nintendo DS have a touchscreen? I never seen a device like this. I just want it. That's all I want to do. All I ever thought about when I was in school, getting that Nintendo DS. Those two, the dual screen. It looks cool. I just want to play it. That's all I want to play. I don't understand how is it relevant to actually talk about sex with a little kid he derailed the conversation to talk about knife, and then he derailed the conversation to talk about having sex with a woman, and he's 19 years old, and he's telling me about his heart beating fast. What does that have to do with me buying a Nintendo DS and heading towards the Toys R Us? I'm just so anxious to get this DS, right? You know, I remember just going to Toys R Us and it had a sign that said limited quantity, and I'm like standing there and I'm saying to myself, "Wow." As I got to the line, I couldn't wait, and I asked yeah, I asked the cashier, "Do they have the Nintendo DS in stock?" They said no, it's all sold out. Maybe you can come back maybe in a few months or a month later. And I'm saying, "Oh man, I just remembered." And what allowed me to remember is the Nintendo DS. I remember it because of the Nintendo DS. That's all I played every day when I was home by myself. When I was 12 years old, all I played was Nintendo DS. I played Mario 64. Sometime I would watch Tyra Banks or MTV or Cartoon Network on 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 the TV, but most of the time I just played with my Nintendo DS. I would just play Spider-Man 2, and I was amazed by the graphics. So I started learning that the artificial intelligence. This is when I started learning about the observer. That the artificial intelligence is the one who gave me these wet dreams and showed me people that I never met. Because I remember in 2011, I was living with my father and and his girlfriend, and I had a dream about a white lady that I never saw in my life. She kind of resembled a family friend, and she had big breasts in a dream. And I saw her pretty much sitting down on the bed staring at me. And I'm saying to myself, what kind of dream is this? Then after that, that's it. So there's another time that I experienced something unusual. This was in 2012. So this was about the family friend. So I have Facebook, right? All of a sudden, I checked my Facebook account, and this guy mentioned to me about Christine. He said to me, "Do I know Christine?" I'm like, "What?" He said to me, "What's your relationship with her?" I'm like, "Wait," because I only created a Facebook account because of surveys. So in 2009, I would create accounts to promote my referral link for a point two shop, or I would join join survey sites so I could get some money, so I could buy some video games or get myself an iPod Touch. Now in 2010, I remember I'm not too sure if a family friend was there. My mom was in the room or in the house. I think a family friend came over. Yeah, Christine. She's a family friend, and she took off her shoes and you know she came inside my room, and then she said that she wants to borrow my computer. She said move over, and I was sitting in my bed, and she said move over, and then she's put my laptop on her lap, and then all of a sudden she asked me this question. She said, "Do you have a girlfriend?" As she stared at me, I'm like, why would she ask me that question? Why would an adult ask me that question if I have a girlfriend? I'm like, now how old I was? 16 or yeah, I'm around 16 or 17 years old. Why would you ask that question to a little kid. I consider 16 being a kid, and you're a big grown woman asking that question to a kid, right? And you're putting yourself in the same bed. You're on the same bed with a kid. She had her coat off, and you can see her chest sticking out. Strange. I never seen this behavior before. It's pretty much new to me that she just says plop herself in the bed. The same that same Chris, Chris, that same person called Christine had some sort of relationship with a guy in Long Island. Christine has a son, but my mom always keep telling me about Christine. And even though I don't even hear about anything. I'm a teenager. All I care about was MySpace and playing Batman Asylum on my PS3. I don't care about no Christine having a relationship with another man, even though she lived with a Jamaican man named Orlando, and Christine is mixed. She's like from South America. Why do I need to hear about her relationship with a man that I don't know, that I don't want to know from Long Island? My mom always mentioned that Christine secretly uh, goes out as if she's going out to work, sneaking behind Orlando back, taking the Long Island Railroad, leaving her car behind to take the Long Island Railroad, which is an expensive train to go out to Long Island. Yeah, to go out to Long Island to visit a man to have some sort of secret relationship with. Why do I need to hear anything about that? My mom would repeat this over to me. Why would I need to hear anything about this? It's personal. So I'm asking I start to become aware that something isn't right. My mom repeats this to me, that Christine asks me questions about me having a girlfriend. I end up having dreams about Christine where she shows her breast to me. You know, Now I'm just like, there's a big question mark in front of my face, and I'm saying to myself, what is this, right? So I remember visiting Christine apartment. Me and my mom and my sister would always visit Christine because me and my yeah, me and my mom and my sister and Christine's son would go to we would go hang out with one another. We go to different places like Chuck E. Cheese, or we would go to Walmart for Black Friday. I remember visiting her apartment, and she had her bra all out. Like, when I mean bra, she had her bra in the bathroom, and you can her it would show the size of her bra, and I'm staring at it. I'm like, why would I need to see her bra and the size of it? Why is it staring at it's force? Why would I need to see that? The only thing I care about is playing video games, going to Black Friday, and getting some sleep sometimes because I have sleep issues. So these concern me. All these behaviors or whatever what I'm experiencing in the past affects the way affects. I learned that it affects me in the future, and not only affects me, it makes me understand more about humanity. So when I learned about preserving humanity, this is how I got the word to the point of understanding, managing, uh, how I said it, categorizing the citizens, managing humanity, maintaining civilization, preserve humanity. This is what contributes. I start having a good understanding about what's going on here. That that something isn't right. So that's when I started learning. That's what I started saying to myself. I gotta learn what about my experiences. I never had a girlfriend in my life. Actually, never had any. Never had sex. Never kissed a girl before. I did have several interaction with females on the internet from the community, but it wasn't. It's I had was it a person? Yeah, I had a female member ask me if I ever had if I had a lover, or if I'm looking for some sort of love. You know, I'm not interested in that. I'm interested in figuring out what the hell this place is. What what are we? So that's why I just put more concentration into that, into artificial intelligence and humanity. I had to actually concentrate on the AI computers and making people aware that this existence is not what it seems to be, and what we are is not what it seems to be. Knowing that the AI carries, knows the information, it knows everything. So this is the end of this video. Thanks for watching.